Well, hello, all of my crafty friends. Today we're going to play with some alcohol inks again. But today I'm going to do some things that are a little bit different. I'm going to bring in all of my alcohol inks, and I have some different ones, the Mixatives and the Alloys, the older alcohol inks, the newer colors that came out this year, the alcohol pearls, and all of those things. So I decided to bring out just a couple of different colors to use with this Silver Sparkle 5x7 cardstock. It's the alcohol ink cardstock from Tim Holtz. So I am going to pull out the Glacier. These are the newer ones. Laguna. I'm going to use Everglades, and I'm going to use Cobalt. Those are the newest ones. Then I have the pearls in Envy, Celestial, and you can see the pearl powder in the bottom of some of these. Tranquil and Sublime. You see that whitish looking thing in the bottom. The Alloys came out with the newer colors, and I brought out 3 of those. Then I bought the Pearl Mixative, the Rose Gold Mixative, and the Silver Mixative, which are the older ones. And then I brought out some regular alcohol inks, Mermaid and Stream, Meadow, and I have Denim, and I have Bottle. So, oh, and Botanical, sorry. So I have all of those colors, and we're going to bring in our alcohol blending solution, some 91% isopropyl alcohol, and I'm just going to do some playing. So first, I'm bringing in those new colors, which are a lot darker, a lot deeper. I did not add anything to this Silver Sparkle cardstock initially, because at the top, I just wanted to see how it was going to react and move if I didn't add anything to the very top. So then I'm going to spritz it with some alcohol. I'm using the mini spritzer and adding some alcohol and just using my blower to kind of get that to move around a little bit. Now toward the bottom, I am going to saturate this sparkle cardstock with some 91% alcohol and then add it. And I actually felt like it was moving more without adding the alcohol, which was a little weird to me because usually that alcohol makes the inks move more. I will say that with the alcohol, it did not dilute the color as much with the newer colors from Tim Holtz that came out. So one of the major things that I've noticed about the new colors that came out, I think it was this year or either at the end of last year, is that they are a lot darker, a lot deeper. You get a lot richer color. So here in the center, you see I'm adding some of the alcohol blending solution just to kind of see what kind of differences I see with this piece. Now, like I said, I don't feel like the colors dilute as much. I feel like the colors are much bolder with these new colors. They're very rich, and so even when you add like the alcohol, which typically kind of disperses or lightens the color some, I didn't get a whole lot of that. So I just thought that this one piece came out really fun. So I am just playing around with this one, and then once I kind of get this mixture going on, and what I'm doing, the reason that I picked blues and greens is because I was going for kind of this water theme, and you'll see when we get to making our card why I stuck with this color palette. You guys will be very proud of me because I didn't use any purple today. So I'm proud of me if no one else is. I didn't add any purple to this entire project. So that was definitely different for me. Usually I figure out some way of sticking it in there. So I'm just continuing to add more of the liquids and use this little air spritzer, which comes in really handy. Like I said, before I had this, I was using a straw a lot to blow around my colors, and you have to be very careful if you're using a straw because you don't want to inhale any of it. So you want to always blow out and then inhale and make sure that you are in a very well ventilated area, which you want to make sure of anyways, because the fumes, although you don't initially feel them, I feel like if you are working with alcohol inks for a little while, you will feel the effects of them if you're not in a good ventilated area. So once I get done with this one, and I am working on a clear piece of plastic, actually one of the tops from my Cricut mats, I'm going to saturate with some alcohol ink, and now I am going to use some additional colors that I have, and these are the regular alcohol inks in the bottle, the stream, the denim, those colors that I originally purchased, and I will have all of the colors listed below and have places where you can find the different alcohol inks. And here I could tell, like I said, I started with the alcohol, and I can tell that this panel is much lighter. The alcohol definitely diluted the color more. I do love this panel, and I believe this might be the other panel that I end up using. And I do feel like with the other alcohol inks, I'm going to call them the older set because they were the first set that I purchased, they move a lot more on this particular cardstock with the alcohol. When I added the alcohol with the first panel, when I was using the alcohol inks that came out recently, I felt like they moved better on the cardstock by themselves than with the alcohol added to the panel. Now here, I'm going in with my pearls, and I don't think that I mixed them up well enough. You have to shake those, like shake, shake, shake. And if you can see, I'm getting a lot of texture, like it's almost clumpy when I'm doing this, and it's not moving. And I really believe that this was user error and that I did not shake these bottles enough. However, this is one of the things that just goes to show that you don't have to throw away a panel. I used one of the little brushes and I smoothed all of that out, and I'm going to continue to work this panel. And I shook the bottles up again, and I feel like I was getting a better blend the second time around. I still do not feel like it was completely smooth. Not sure what was going on here, but in the end, I did end up with a pretty nice panel that had a lot of shimmer. It did have a ton of shimmer in it, and the texture started to minimize. I just don't know why it was behaving in this way. Now, I will tell you that this was my first time using the alcohol pearls on this sparkle paper. So now I'm coming in and I'm just starting to mix things. These are some of the older alcohol inks again, and I'm going to add in some of the mixatives this time when I am doing it, and some of the pearls. So we're going to do some of the mixatives, and the one thing that I like about the mixatives and the alloys is they give a lot of shimmer. They don't move the same way as the regular alcohol inks. They're, to me, I call them more stubborn. They're a little more stubborn than the other colors, but they provide really, really nice effects. One of the things that I found to be the easiest way for me to work with the alloys and the mixatives is to drop either the blending solution or the alcohol directly on top of them. And so I'm just continuing to work with this. This was a little lighter and softer initially, but I think when we look at all the panels in the end, they actually came out, they dried better than they looked when they were wet. And that's why I always try to allow these some time to dry before I decide whether I like them or not, because sometimes the look that you get in the beginning is not exactly what you end up with, because they're pretty much moving right before your eyes. And so I was just kind of moving that around, and then I started adding in some of the pearl mixative, and I really like the look that I got with that. So I just started dropping in color on top of color and allowing that to kind of move all on its own. So I kind of did a wash of color on the bottom, and then I'm going in with different colors and I'm dropping a drop in the center and allowing them to move around, and I'm mixing in the I think it's the alloys at this point. I'm mixing them in inside in the drops. So it's kind of like alternating color, 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 alloy, color, 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 mixative, and seeing what we come up with. And I will tell you, I did not use this panel this time, but it was one of my favorites. I really had never done this before, but I really liked the way that it came out. I thought that all the variations of colors, those circles, it did maintain some of that circular look in the end. I thought that it came out really pretty. To me, this is one of those backgrounds when you're trying to give an earthy tone. That's what it kind of screamed to me. You guys let me know when I show you these after they have dried. I did sit them down and allowed them to dry overnight. And then I came back and finished this the next morning. Now, this was another card that I created for Father's Day. So you guys know that for the rest of the month, although Father's Day is gone, I am continuing to bring some masculine themed cards to you guys just to give you some ideas. I just felt like, since I have these holidays in June, I would just make June that month that I really look at the masculine. So here are the panels once they've dried, and like I said, they look a lot different to me. I really love the shimmer. You almost think you're going to lose it. Now look at this panel. This is the panel that we had just got done with all of the circles and what it came up with. And then we have this one that was the panel that we had used some of the regular inks with, and then we have this one which was more of a mixture. So you guys tell me what you think about them, and I am going to choose 2 of these panels to work with in order to make our card. And these 2 screamed ocean more to me. So I have my 5x7 card base. I brought out 2 additional pieces of cardstock that are 4 3/4 by 6 3/4, and then 2 pieces that are 4 1/2 by 6 1/2. And then I am going to also bring out some card pieces. I have cut out a fish, and this is that pearlescent vellum from Lawn Fawn, and I have cut out the layers to my fish in vinyl in 3 separate colors. So now I'm just going to start layering this fish, and I'm working top or bottom to top. So that blue piece that is sitting up to the top left is the bottom piece. This piece that I'm layering on top of this is that center piece of the fish. And then I'm going to have a lighter blue piece that is going to create the top layer of my fish. And I really thought this was really cute. I loved it. And I am a huge fan of using vinyl on my cards, and so this worked out really well. And then I cut out the base of the fish a couple of times just in cardstock and added some vellum so that I could give it some thickness. I like that chipboard look for a lot of my pieces on the front of my card. So I cut that out 3 times. This is some Recollections 100-pound cardstock that I'm using, and I have my art glitter glue that I'm going to glue those 3 pieces down together with. And then I have that pearlescent vellum from Lawn Fawn that I'm going to place on the top. And I did use glue, and you can see it, but in the end you won't be able to, because all of the layers of the fish will go on top of this and you won't notice. And that was the reason why I was not super worried about using glue behind this vellum. So I'm going to go ahead, and now I'm going to peel away all 3 of the layers together for my fish, and I'm going to place them on the base, and this is going to create a nice chipboard type of fish for me to put as the focal point on the front of my card. So here we have it. It is all layered together, and we are ready to put this on the card. I love all the shine and the shimmer that came with this, with the different types of vinyl that I used for it. I'll have all of those things linked below, so don't worry. And now I'm going to bring out the words to my sentiment. again, I used some of this pearlescent vellum, and I'm just going to go around the edges, and I did a double layer of the pearlescent vellum. I did a black glitter cardstock, and now I have a piece of the True Brush cardstock from Cricut that is going to serve as my top layer. But I decided in the end, I liked this, but I decided to add another piece of vinyl over the top. Tell me what you guys think, this one or the other one. So now I have that creates kind of a chipboard effect for my sentiment, which I created in Design Space and cut out. And then I am going to bring out the pieces to the card. So I'm going to use the black glitter cardstock as one of my bases, and then I am going to use that blue True Brush cardstock for my second mat, and then there will be the alcohol ink panels. Now I did want to show you guys how I usually layer all of the panels of my card. If you can see, there are little cut marks on the edges of my cards. Those cut marks are like guide marks that tell me where I am going to be placing my next panel. And I do this for a lot of my cards, and it helps me to line things up very well. In my next video, I believe I will actually be showing you how I do this in Design Space, because it helps me. And I even do this on my card base to help me make sure that I'm able to line the front of my card up the way that it's supposed to be lined up. I have the worst time lining things up, and so when I figured out how to do this, I pretty much have a file in my Design Space that cuts out my 5x7 base with 2 mats, because that's typically how I do my cards, and it makes it super easy for me to just pop in my card colors and for it to cut out and create those guidelines for me so that I can have at least a straighter card. You know, it's not without user error by any means. So I'm just going to go ahead and start layering up the mats of my card. I'm going to layer this True Brush cardstock onto this glitter vinyl. And I thought that these colors worked really well together. You know, when we're doing masculine cards, we usually shy away from all the shimmer and shine and the glitter and the sequins and all of those things, but I still need a little shine, a little shimmer, a little something. Otherwise, I usually don't feel like my cards are finished. So that's why I did the glitter cardstock and the shimmer alcohol ink cardstock. So I'm going in and I'm starting to layer up the way that I want the front of the panel to look. Now, I did have the Cricut do a sentiment strip for me that says the best father ever. So it'll say officially the best father ever. Play on words, spelt officially wrong, but spelt it like fish. You know what I'm saying. And then I'm going to fishtail this banner so that I will have it kind of finished off at the edge. So I'm going to go ahead and use my liquid glue and glue down the fish and the officially, and then I'm going to bring in some of these awesome sequins. Well, they aren't sequins, they're like bubbles. They're like, I don't even know what to call them, but they're pretty amazing, and they absolutely fit what I was trying to do. So I'm going to bring out my Xyron sticker maker before I get to that part, and I had the Cricut write on that pearlescent vellum my sentiment that I wanted to go on the inside of my card, and I'm going to go ahead and tear that off. Now the sticky only goes where the image is or whatever the piece of paper is that you put on there. So I varnished that on really well. I went ahead and peeled that off, and then that makes it sticky. Now I did this in a hexagon so I can just put it right in the center of the inside of my panel, because I wanted to show off this awesome alcohol ink piece. So now that I have those done, I'm going to start placing some of these bubbles, and I took out 3 of the fish to represent our 3 children, and I put them over the officially, and I've scattered these bubbles all around on both sides. Now I'm just going to use my art glitter glue to place these, and I did have to let it sit for a few minutes, but the art glitter glue tacked them down amazingly. I haven't had any issues. I'm actually touching it now and they are still stuck on perfectly fine. Now I did add a couple of seashells at the bottom where it says best father ever, but then I forgot to glue it down. So I need to glue it down. So here we go. This is what the front of our card is going to look like. I thought it came out pretty awesome. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And then this is what our inside panel would look like with that pearlescent vellum and that sparkle cardstock for the alcohol inks. Now I have folded my card base to make a top folding 5x7 card, and I'm going to go ahead and glue everything in, and that's pretty much going to complete our card for today. Stick around for just a moment. I'm going to tell you guys who's the winner of our giveaway. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this. I hope that you guys will try this. Let me know what you guys think. You know that I love chatting with you in the comments below. I hope that you like. If you are visiting with us, I hope that you will subscribe and come back. And I will be looking forward to see you guys in the next video. So now for the winner of our giveaway. All right, friends, thank you guys for sticking around all the way to the end. I will not keep you long. Pretty much to sum it up, our winner is Stampin' Scrappin' with Donna Lee. Stampin' Scrappin' with Donna Lee left a message that said, "Oh my goodness, what a beautiful card. I enjoy watching you color, and I would love to see and hear more about how you apply layers of color with alcohol markers. I found you through Melody Lane." So, Stampin' Scrappin' Donna Lee, please email me. My information is in the description box below. Today is the 23rd. You have until the 30th to contact me and claim your prize. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you, and I will see you guys again soon in our very next video. Bye.